Hello and welcome to the $1,000,000 Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Callie DeBlanda Brigham, calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. And I want to wish you a Happy New Year. I know, you're thinking, does she have her timing right and her calendar right? By the way, I'll never forget one year, this is quite a while back, my dad called me and he said, I have somebody on the phone that I want you to say hello to. So I said a general, hesitant hello, and it was Zig Ziglar on the other line. My dad was at a conference, and Zig was there, and my dad wanted me to meet him. And so we greeted each other for a minute, and Zig said, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas. And this was in the spring. And I said, oh, well, thank you. And he said, am I the first? I said, yes, you are the first. And he said, oh, good. So anyways, I'll never forget that. It was pretty cute. That's one of his, I guess, icebreakers, is to wish people a Merry Christmas when it's not Christmas time. So if you're wondering, why in the world am I wishing you a Happy New Year? And it's the end of September. Well, this week marked the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. It is year 5786. So they go off of a different calendar and from the start of creation, so hence 5786 year, where we are just in year 2025. And the traditional greeting that they say is Shana Tova, which means basically good start of the year, or, excuse me, you guys, I'm going to sneeze. I'm so sorry. Okay. And it basically means have a good, sweet year, Happy New Year, etc. So you can say it with me, Shana Tova. And I was thinking about, what does that mean? And as a matter of fact, I think I said it in my stories, how nice to have a new year. Does anybody feel like they want a fresh new year? You know, in Mary Kay, we have three of them. We have our fiscal new year on July 1st. We have our calendar new year on January 1st. And the date changes every year for the Jewish New Year, but I don't know about you. Let's take it. Let's take it and run with it. So while the rest of the world is waiting for January to maybe hit a reset button, what if we decided that today was our fresh start? So let's treat the end of September like our very own January 1st or July 1st. And I was thinking, what could that mean? You know, it could mean that, let's say that you were starting your calendar fresh. If today was the first day of a brand new year, what would be your number one thing? What would be the one thing that you would circle in bold red, you'd put up everywhere in your house, you'd use as a header, you would use it as your wallpaper, and say, this is what matters most to me? And I think that, of course, we always want to differentiate having a dream that we're working for. By the way, I may have mentioned mine, but next year, taking the family to go see the World Cup. And that is a huge goal and dream that I have, because it's just going to be so dang fun. But anyways, a dream, but then what's my plan? How am I going to get there? What's that going to look like? What will that do for my career path or my standing for quarter sales, or how many unit members do I need in order to do that? So for you, maybe you nailed quarter 1 star, or you didn't. So maybe it is earning your star this quarter. Maybe it is going into DIQ. Maybe it's finishing DIQ. Maybe it's having a certain size of your customer base. So what if you wrote it down, because we know the importance of that, and claimed it like it was your New Year's resolution? You could start today. Nobody said you couldn't. You could even decide a new word of the year. Maybe you want a word that is going to be your touchstone, your center point, your filter for everything that you do. And you could start a new word today if you wanted to. And then the next thing you want to do is maybe think about a new habit. It was interesting. I went to a Civic Leaders Summit a couple days this week. And if one keynote or 100 keynotes said this, every single person talked about thinking big, starting small. Thinking big, starting small. Having a big vision, having a small first step. I mean, I had $1 for every person that said it. So it must be true. So what tiny action could you take today that would change the tone? And the fall for me is the most favorite time to have a Mary Kay business. So get excited about that. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it is, your 10 booking calls a day. Maybe it's one booking call a day. Maybe it's one follow-up, but you use your voice instead of a screen, a text. Maybe it is one encouraging message to a team member or to a sister consultant even too, because sometimes, I'll tell you what, sometimes we are in our own head and our own way so much that really, if we would just get out of it for a minute and encourage or inspire somebody else, we would then therefore encourage and inspire ourselves. Well, guess what? If you did that, well, depending on what day you're listening, 30, 32, 33, 34 times between now and the end of October, that could absolutely be a game changer. You know, don't discount the small habit, the small start, because it will compound. And then, what about a new blessing? Because Rosh Hashanah is not just about a good year, it's about a sweet year. As a matter of fact, we dip apples in honey to remind us to have a sweet year. So maybe it's about bringing sweetness to your business. Maybe it is about slipping in an extra sample. Maybe it is about writing a special thank you note or making it fun on your social. Sweetness attracts people, and they'll remember how you made them feel. So a new calendar with a new vision, a new habit, and maybe a new blessing. And then lastly, I was thinking about the shofar. That's the ram's horn that's blown at Rosh Hashanah. And I heard someone say that, they go to services at the temple, and they're kind of long. So every so often they blow the shofar, the ram's horn, to make sure everybody stays awake. It is loud, and it is jolting. And if you've never heard it before, then go YouTube it. But they blow that at Rosh Hashanah, and it's not just a tradition that they do it, it's a symbol. And the shofar has a few meanings that I thought were appropriate for this. And the first is the wake-up call, whether you're falling asleep. And I will say, one of the keynotes, it was so good, but it was right after lunch. And I was sitting there, I'm like, stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. And I needed a shofar to sound. But it was meant to stir the people up, to say, wake up, pay attention. And maybe your business has been on autopilot. I know mine easily gets on autopilot. You're doing the motions, but you're not really there. So maybe there's an area of your business that needs a wake-up call. Maybe it's your calendar. Maybe it is your calendar that needs a wake-up call, your bookings. Maybe it is checking in on your PCP customers. Maybe it's the ones that haven't ordered in a while. Maybe it's really just digging in and diving in. Maybe it's dusting off those leads you've been sitting on and actually implementing the 21-day booking approach. So it's a wake-up call. It's a call to action, too. So it wasn't just the noise of it. It was a command, a signal, a call to move. So don't just listen today and get excited. Be moved. Maybe it's that bold action that you've been avoiding you could do right now. Maybe it is something that you could finish September with, a last call today, maybe a special bundle with the new products. Maybe it's asking that one person about the business opportunity. Or maybe it's finally getting your October calendar filled with Power Start appointments. So the bold action that you do today, sweet results tomorrow. And then I would say the last part is it's a call to community. The shofar was never blown for just one person. It was for the whole community to hear. And your business isn't just about you. Because when you take action, it ripples through your customers, through your family, through your team. So maybe your wake-up message today is what gives somebody else the courage to do something too. Maybe your action inspires your kids watching at home. So your business creates community. All right, so my challenge for you today is treat today as a new year. You don't have to wait for January. It's almost like September sets the table for October, for a sweet October. So decide your focus, commit to one new habit, and choose one bold step that will ripple out. All right, Shana Tova, my friends. May this year be the sweetest one yet. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.